Hail, Boomer Sooner, everybody. My name's Harry James. This is the first set of preview shows for this year in college football for 2021. Hopefully, we'll get a whole full season in. And if we do, the Sooners will begin at Tulane, out in New Orleans. We'll preview that. Tulane, by the way, is from the American Conference. All right, guys, we'll preview Tulane, the first game of the season out in New Orleans, out on Bourbon Street. Coming up next, Boomer Sooner 1982. Don't go away! My name's Harry James. The opening game this season will be played against the Tulane Green Waves out in New Orleans, Louisiana. Standing at 6-6 last year in the American Conference, they were 3-5. Also 3-5 with themselves, Navy, the aforementioned Tulane Green Wave, and Lincoln Riley's former team, East Carolina. All finished in 7th place out in the American Conference with their 3-5 record. They did go to a bowl last year where they lost to a Power 5 team. Well, not really. Nevada's not a Power 5 team. But they did lose to Nevada 28-27 in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The Tulane Green Wave played their games at Yulman Stadium in New Orleans. Now, I'm hoping that if this whole thing is over, this whole COVID thing's over, officially over, and they actually play this year, I'm hoping that they move it to the Superdome, which is, of course, where the New Orleans Saints play. I guarantee you would sell plenty of OU seats in that stadium. But as it sits right now, the game still is to be played at Yulman Stadium in New Orleans. Their head coach, Willie Fritz, is in his 6th year in charge of the Tulane Green Wave. He's had a couple of other stops on the way, has Mr. Willie Fritz, like from 1997 to 2009 for 12 years, he was at Central Michigan. 4 years, 2010 to 2013, he took the step down to Sam Houston State. Made the way back up to big time college football for 2014 and 2015, back to the NCAA level with Georgia Southern, and of course now from 2016 to present, the last 5 or 6 years has been at Tulane, has Willie Fritz. Helping Willie Fritz stay afloat there on Bourbon Street. You get it? Because there's lots of rivers around there. Well, what if there's number 7, Michael Pratt, passing the ball around? At the end of the day, he had 1,806 yards in the air last year to go with 20 touchdowns, 8 INTs, and a season-long pass of 52 yards. Leading rushers for last year, 20, Cameron Carroll, and 11, Tajay Spears. We'll start with Cameron Carroll, 122 carries at the end of the boat last year, 741 on the ground, 12 touchdowns, a long run of 65 yards. Tajae Spears did his part too with only 37 carries, but did have 247 yards on the ground, 2 tugs, and a long of 42 yards for Spears. Wide receivers, Deuce Watts, where's number 2 for Tulane. Also, Jaquan Jackson, number 4 for Tulane. We'll start with Deuce Watts. Watts, 31 catches last year, 512 yards in the air to go with 6 touchdowns. His longest reception last year, 52 yards. Jahari Jackson, also 31, matched it with 31 carries, but only 425 yards on the ground in the air, receiving 8 touchdowns, a long reception of 42 yards from the wide receiver. Defense for the leading defenders for Tulane, both linebackers, 24 Torian Williams and 40 Nick Anderson. 24 Torian Williams, 97 total tackles last year from the linebacker spot. No forced fumbles, no fumbles recovered, no interceptions. Nick Anderson, also a linebacker, led the team with 88 total tackles last year. Also, no fumbles recovered, no forced fumbles, and 0 interceptions. The special teams for Tulane, 97 Ryan Wright. That's the punter. 97 Ryan Wright had 52 overall punts last year, averaging 45.2. The punting, however, is just half the work in special teams. The other half, the kicking part, well, that belongs to Merrick Glover. 9 for 15, 60% last year, a long field goal of 42 yards. Now, Merrick is, however, one of the super seniors. Senior year last season, came back because of the COVID senior redo. So, there is that. All right, guys, plenty of time between now and the beginning of football season. So, let's find a way to keep you guys entertained. I got it. Right here. The Inside OU podcast. Brady Trantham, Keegan Renault, they do a great job on their podcast. This one, done through the franchise family. It's a great, great podcast. They also have this one right here. Now, it is part of the Patreon family. As you know, you have to pay for to use the Patreon. It is $4 for audio only. The audio does include an extra podcast midweek, at least in the off season. About Tuesday, they'll release a Monday post, and then during the season they'll do a post game reaction show between the two of them. $4 if you want that. $5 if you want video of it, like this right here, like we're doing here. They'll also break down, or Keegan at least will break down film review as a coach would do. So he does that. That is an extra $1, so that one's $5. Go to the Patreon app and find it through the keyhole. All right, guys, thanks for watching. My name is Harry James. You can catch this in all my videos on the YouTube, Boomer Sooner 1982. Also, Facebook, Harry James Taylor, or on the Twitter hype, @HypeManHarry. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See y'all next week when we preview Western Carolina. Till then, guys, I'm out of here. Boomer Sooner. Peace.